When I was a kid, I loved watching adventure movies. I liked the idea that someone could set out on their own.
I'm a loner, Daddy. A rebel.
And then discover amazing things.
Wonkatania.
Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
Test themselves against real dangers.
Don't be dead!
Make new friends.
That's so good.
We come far, you and me.
I will not forget you.
And just learn so much about themselves and the world.
If I take one more step, it'll be the farthest away from home I've ever been.
Do you know what the secret of life is? This.
Your finger?
One thing.
This is true love.
True love is the greatest thing in the world. Except for nice MLT, mutton, lettuce, and tomato sandwich.
So when I grew up, I started heading out on my own adventures. I hiked all the way across Spain and across Iceland, through the California Sierra on the John Muir Trail, around Mont Blanc in the Alps, and all the way over the 3 passes in Nepal and to Everest Base Camp. But I'm not like some Olympic athlete. Even though I've produced adventure TV shows and directed my own films, I'm mostly just a normal guy who sits home on Friday nights binging on Netflix and eating an entire pizza. So yeah, not every adventure I tried went exactly as planned.
There's a buffalo right behind us.
Maybe we made a wrong turn. 3 feet deep snow without snowshoes.
We're never gonna make it. We're never gonna make it.
Everything we own is soaking wet. I have diarrhea.
We live to hike another day.
We're gonna die out here. Oh, quicksand. But a lot of my trips worked out. We walked across all of Spain. We made it to the top of the north rim of the Grand Canyon. We made it at the top of the world in the Himalaya. Lake of Eternal Youth, we made it. 3 passes, we've done it. But one day, I decided I wanted to test myself, to see what I was really capable of. And that's when I headed out on my biggest adventure of all.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
From off Christchurch, where the local time is just going on 2:40 in the afternoon. On behalf of your entire Christchurch based crew today, we look forward to seeing you all again very soon.
I'm standing here in the Marlborough Sounds in the South Island of New Zealand at a place called Ship Cove. This is a place that Captain Cook visited many times on his navigations around the world, although Polynesian explorers discovered this place almost 500 years before the Europeans did. I'm here because I'm about to set out on a huge hiking and paddling trip across the South Island of New Zealand. The intent is to go from the north coast to the south coast, doing a bunch of pack rafting as well as hiking. I'm not sure how far I'm going to get because I think it's going to be a really exhausting journey and something pretty hard to do by myself. Behind me is my huge pack and pack raft. It's a lot of gear. I also have 12 days of food in that thing right now for the first 12 days of this trip, so it's going to be a lot of weight. Now I'm going to inflate my pack raft and head off paddling through the Marlborough Sounds to the north coast to the mainland, and then continue hiking south. Okay, so I know you have a bunch of questions. And you know that kid from the Neverending story who's sitting in the middle of the floor of the school's attic reading, and every so often we get to see him react to the story?
You must go alone. It will be very dangerous.
Is there any chance of success?
I do not know.
Oh, little boy.
That's what I'm doing here for you. So I'm sure you're wondering, how did he plan the trip? Where is he going? Does he have enough food? So I wanted to plan a trip that was more adventurous than anything I'd done before. And so I started creating my own custom route before heading to New Zealand by reading books and blogs and just gathering as many ideas as I could from other trips. I ended up designing a continuous 1,300 kilometer trip across South New Zealand, which I divided into 10 stages. I expected the trip to take about 2 months. So I'm in my hotel room here in Christchurch, and I've just finished putting together the food drops for my hike. Hopefully they'll make it to their destination, otherwise this trip is going to be a disaster. So I sent boxes with food and supplies ahead by mail at places that I thought I'd be able to emerge from the wilderness, grab the box, and then continue on with the food and supplies. Here I am paddling the Marlborough Sounds on my Packraft. I really like it. You can hear the sounds of all the wildlife in the forest here. I've seen some penguins, a bunch of mussels, a whole bunch of interesting birds. It's just a beautiful day. Just hanging out with some seals here, paddling in Marlborough Bay. Pretty cool. This island behind me in the Marlborough Sounds, I've discovered has a for sale sign, which this place is awesome. I think maybe anyone want to split this island and buy it with me? I have about halfway to go until I get to the campground for tonight, which is in one of the inlets just ahead. Well, it's the end of the first day of my trip, and I made it to Ratimera Bay campsite. I did about 14 miles of packrafting in the Marlborough Sounds today. It was gorgeous, but I've already managed to, it looks like, destroy my headlamp because my dry bag is not a dry bag, apparently. Everything else in there is a little wet, but my headlamp is the only thing that's causing the headlamp is the only thing that's electronic. So we're going to see if I can dry that thing out and have some dinner and get some sleep. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to see where I go next.